Hello, this is Chris Kallal, Territory Agronomist for DEKALB Agro here in West Central Illinois. Wanted to take a few minutes here and give you an update on our earlier season Double Pro hybrids and that 109 to 111 RM with a quick look at some 2020 performance, some multi-year data, and then kind of wrap up with how we position these products and differentiate them in the marketplace. In this RM, we've got four options really to pick from. DKC 6088 is kind of the tried and true product that's been around since 2016, 2017 time period. 5982 and 6141 were both introduced into the marketplace for trial work in 2019, so this is the second year we've got to take a peek at those hybrids. And then 6080 was the brand new introduction for trial work in 2020 that will sell for the first time a crop of 2021. So what we're looking at here is a 3-year summary of those hybrids versus competitive hybrids with no rootworm protection in a greater West Central Illinois geography. So there's some eastern Missouri, some southeastern Iowa, a little bit of West Central Indiana. So a large chunk of real estate across Illinois and surrounding areas. Basically what you see here is that the newer stuff's running 6 to 8 bushel better than competition, which is pretty typical for us in this maturity. The red line would be the win rates over there on the z-axis on the right-hand side. Just taking a peek here at 5982's performance in just 2020. This stability graph would fall in line with what we've seen out of this product previously, and that essentially what you see there with that blue line being above the dotted line at all yield levels would suggest that 5982 performs above average at all yield levels. Here's the stability graph on 6080, again in just 2020. Should come to no surprise of us that the line here suggests that 6080 gets better as the yield environment climbs. And the reason I say it should be no surprise is that the stress tolerance ratings on 6080, we were nervous about those going into the season. We had pitched it all summer long as promoting it more on the average to the better acre, and that's exactly how it performed. Now here's a look at 6141. Again, 2020 look only at the data. Pretty typical what we've seen. Generally has gotten a little better as yield environments climb, but really the way this graph lays, I would say, at the yield levels we're going to experience across most of West Central Illinois, 6141 would fit on any and all of those acres, still being solid product, well down close to 200 bushel. I don't have a stability graph on 6088 to show because we really didn't test it much in Central Illinois this past year. Here I've got what we kind of refer to as our Scattergrams or XY graphs. The one there on the lower left, I've got the other three hybrids pitted against 6088, and again, this is a multi-year look. So the 6088, 6080 comparisons are predominantly coming out of Southern Illinois. But you can tell really essentially no difference in performance against those four products, with 5982 only being 0.6 of a bushel better. And then both 6141 and 6080 being about, 1/10 of a bushel below 6088. And again, that is multi-year data across a large portion of West Central Illinois and surrounding areas. Top right, you can see I did the same thing, taking the other three hybrids and pitting them against 6141. See a little bit more separation here, and probably no surprise with the 6080 coming down to 3 bushel below with what I showed on its stability graph. I think that's where a lot of that yield difference is coming from. The other thing in these graphs would be the moisture, and really not a lot of separation here either. 0.4 of a point of moisture separating all four of those products one way or the other, essentially. So to help drive a little clarity in how maybe we separate these hybrids, I looked at them based on yield ranges. And so if you look at that ultra high yield level, say north of 260, 5982, 6141, and 6080 are essentially all parity. I think there was a bushel separating those three, with 6088 being approximately 2 bushel better than the other three. So almost no separation between them. Coming down in yield level from about 240 to 260, 5982 was a tad better than 6141, and both of those were better than 6080 and 6088. Again, coming down into that 220 to 240, seeing a similar type trend where 5982 was better than all of them. Get a little bit of bounce here in that as you get down closer to that 200 level, 6141 did outpace 5982 at one particular category here. And then as you look in that under 200 environment, 6080 was the worst, and we saw that a while ago in the stability graph, and the other three really were all at parity with each other. They're about a bushel off. So when you've got four hybrids like that are that close in performance, where there's really no separation to speak of in their yield, it gets a little hard to sometimes differentiate the products. But I wanted to hit on a few of their agronomic qualities, is kind of how I oftentimes differentiate them and help me choose which one I place in what particular situation. So if emergence is key for that particular customer, say it's early planted acres or they're in a more of a no-till, reduced-till type situation, I lean on 6141 because it's got the edge in emergence of all of these products. If the guy's really not a believer in spraying fungicide at VT time, then maybe 6080 ought to be the product for that guy because it's got the best plant health in regards to gray leaf and southern rust. 6080 is generally the hybrid I pick that maybe if grain quality is of concern with a guy. If a guy's had root lodging issues in the past, or he's nervous about root lodging or has very little tolerance for it, we know that 6088 and 6141 can root lodge a little bit. So maybe we need to pick on 5982 or 6080 for that customer. Or at the end of the day, if it's just all about yield and having stability across yield levels, well then let's go with 5982 or 6141. That's it for reviewing these products. Hopefully it was worthwhile. If you do happen to have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or your FSR, and hopefully we can clear things up for you. Have a great day.